There is only one man in Zimbabwe right now who has stopped Emerson Mnangagwa before. Not in court, not at a rally, not through a press conference or a civic application or a signed statement from retired generals. In real life, with real consequences. In the most dramatic political moment this country has witnessed in a generation. And that man is still here, still watching, still calculating. The question Zimbabwe cannot say out loud is whether he is about to do it again. To answer this question honestly, we have to understand what stopping Mnangagwa actually requires. Because this is not a simple binary. This is not a chess match with one move available to each player. This is a multi-dimensional political, legal, institutional, and personal battle being fought simultaneously on more fronts than any single actor can control. So let us map the terrain. The legal front. Chiwenga does not need to personally stop CAB 3 in court. That work is being done. Matete's High Court application, Maduku's Constitutional Court challenge, two coordinated legal interventions attacking the same constitutional edifice from different angles. If either succeeds, CAB 3 is halted. If both succeed, it is dead. But Chiwenga's faction has an interest in those legal challenges succeeding. Not because the vice president is filing papers himself, but because every day the legal uncertainty continues is a day CAB3 has not passed. Every court date is a delay. Every delay changes the political mathematics inside the party. On the legal front, Chiwenga does not need to act. He needs the courts to act. And his faction's quiet support for those challenging the bill creates the political space for the legal process to breathe. The parliamentary front, this is where it gets most complicated and most consequential. ZANU-PF has the numbers in parliament, a majority, enough to pass ordinary legislation with ease. But constitutional amendments require a higher threshold, 2/3 of the National Assembly. And that threshold is where ZANU-PF's majority becomes insufficient without additional support. They need Shabangu's CCC legislators. We know this. Shabangu has already said his faction will not support CAB 3 in its current form. But Shabangu is in negotiations with ZANU-PF. The door is open, revisions are being discussed, and the outcome of that negotiation will determine whether CAB 3 gets its numbers. Here is where Chiwenga's influence becomes critical and invisible simultaneously. Chiwenga cannot walk into that negotiation officially. He cannot sit across from Shabangu and say, reject this deal on my behalf. He cannot publicly instruct ZANU-PF legislators to vote against their own party's bill, but the signals he sends, the conversations his allies have, the quiet weight of his institutional network pressing on the calculations of MPs who know that a CAB3 Zimbabwe and a post-Mnangagwa Zimbabwe are two different environments requiring two different survival strategies. That invisible pressure is real. And it is operating right now. The internal party front. This is where Chiwenga's power is most concentrated and most dangerous to the 2030 agenda. ZANU-PF is not a unified party. We have established this conclusively through weeks of evidence. Balekwa's expulsion revealed that dissent exists even at the level of the president's blood relatives. Togarepi's admission revealed that doubt exists even within the youth structures. The general statement revealed that discomfort extends into the security establishment's retired community. All of these fractures exist in an environment where Chiwenga's faction operates as an invisible alternative power center, not declaring itself, not organizing openly, but present, felt, factored into every calculation that every ZANU-PF official makes about their political future. Because every ZANU-PF member who is not fully committed to the 2030 agenda is doing the same private calculation right now. If Mnangagwa extends his term to 2030 and beyond, what does my political future look like in a Zimbabwe he controls completely? And if CAB 3 fails and the succession question reopens, what does my political future look like in a Zimbabwe where Chiwenga's moment might finally come? That calculation, repeated in the minds of dozens of ZANU-PF officials simultaneously, is Chiwenga's most powerful weapon. And he has not had to fire it. It fires itself. The institutional front. And if you say Chiwenga will stop Mnangagwa, you are making a prediction about the most consequential political event on the continent with information that is fundamentally incomplete because the most important variables are happening in spaces nobody can access. Ordinary Zimbabweans are watching this with a combination of exhaustion and fascination. Exhaustion because this level of political uncertainty is itself a cost. Investment does not come to uncertain environments. Development does not happen in political limbo. Young people do not build futures in countries where the constitutional rules are being rewritten in birthday party caucuses, and the second most powerful figure in government is sending toxic warnings through coded public statements. The uncertainty itself is the damage. Regional observers are noting that the Chiwenga question has moved from internal Zimbabwean political gossip to a genuine regional stability variable. SADC is watching. South Africa is watching. Every country that shares economic and migratory ties with Zimbabwe is watching because the answer to whether Chiwenga can stop Mnangagwa will determine what Zimbabwe looks like for the next decade. And what Zimbabwe looks like for the next decade affects every country in the region. Can Chiwenga stop Mnangagwa? Let us be honest about what we know and what we do not. We know Chiwenga has stopped Mnangagwa's political journey being disrupted before. In 2017, he made Mnangagwa's presidency possible, which means he understands better than anyone alive exactly how that presidency was built, its foundations, its dependencies, its vulnerabilities. We know his faction is actively opposing CAB 3 from inside the government. Not loudly, not officially, but consistently and with enough effect that the bill has not passed despite ZANU-PF's stated confidence. We know he called certain people toxic. We know an open letter accused him of treason and reminded Zimbabwe he once declined the presidency. We know a party spokesperson had a press conference to declare Mnangagwa unchallenged, which is the kind of thing you do when you are not entirely sure the challenge is over. We know retired generals warned, do not betray the people. We know the courts are engaged. We know the legal and civic resistance to CAB 3 has outlasted every prediction of its quick collapse. What we do not know is the private decision Constantino Chiwenga has made in the quiet of wherever powerful men go when they are deciding how much longer they will wait. We do not know if he has concluded that patience is still his best weapon or that the time for patience has passed. We do not know what offer has been made to him, what assurance, what timeline, what arrangement in some caucus room that is not a birthday party but serves the same function. We do not know if the man who moved armies in 2017 has decided that 2026 requires a different kind of movement. What we do know is this. In November 2017, the world woke up to a Zimbabwe that nobody predicted the night before. And the man most responsible for that morning is still in the building. So here is the question Zimbabwe and all of Southern Africa must sit with as CAB 3 moves toward its final chapter. Can Chiwenga stop Mnangagwa? History says yes. Circumstances possibly. And the silence from the vice president's office says everything that a press conference never could. Share this, because this question does not have an answer yet, but Zimbabwe is going to get one. And when it comes, it will arrive the same way Chiwenga's most consequential decisions always have, without warning and without going back